Hello and welcome. Today we will be playing some Star Wars Empire at War. This is a game originally released in 2006, and for all of those who it's a RTS, a real-time strategy that pits the awesome Galactic Empire against the Rebellion. An expansion was released called Forces of Corruption, which adds a third faction to the game, organized crime, including extra units for both the Rebels and the Empire. I do have that game, but at least for now I think we'll just stick to the base game. Just so for all of you who aren't familiar with the game, sort of get a grip on the mechanics. We might later on have a look at Forces of Corruption. Um, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the base game. My favorite part of Forces of Corruption was the inclusion of Lord Vader's Super Star Destroyer. But I felt overall the teams were slightly unbalanced. In particular, the pilots seemed to be slightly more powerful in what they could do. And for that reason, mostly, we're just going to stick to the base game. We'll jump straight in here into a galactic conquest. As you can see, there's different scenarios. Some have all of the planets. For example, Galactic Conflict has 43, while others like the Lines of Dawn only have 8, Alderaan Domain has 10. So I think we'll go for somewhere a bit in the middle, the Shipyards of Kuat, where both teams start on tech level 3. Obviously the higher your tech is, the more advanced units and ships you can build. The Rebel will start with 8,000 credits, the Empire with 15, and obviously credits are just the currency used in the Star Wars universe. We will be playing as the Empire. We'll keep it on medium, and let's jump straight in. So we have an incoming transmission from Grand Moff Tarkin. This game is set between episodes 3 and 4, so he's still alive in terms of the chronology of the game. When we unlock Tech level 5, we will get the chance to build the Star Destroyer, obviously, but in this particular scenario we've only got 20 days, and so I very much doubt we'll have the time to do it. Bit of flavour. The Empire has already completed the construction of several Star Destroyers at the Kuwait Drive Yards, which is like a planet under our control. The Rebellion has upgraded their star bases in preparation for the upcoming battles. You have 15,000 credits at your disposal. Use this to utterly destroy the Rebellion. You must complete this task within 20 days or they will scatter to the ends of the galaxy. So let's close, we'll pause for now, considering we're on a limit. This is the starting sort of thing. These are the green are friendly controlled planets. Obviously we don't know who's on the other planets, but we can only assume if they're not ours that they've fallen under the influence of the Rebellion, although some pirate factions do exist, which aren't to be confused with the organised crime I was telling you about with Forces of Corruption. The pirates in this base game are sort of like neutral forces. They're pretty static. I don't think they ever attack you. They just hold planets. But anyway, if you've been watching our other series about Star Wars Battlefront 2 with Galactic Conquest, you'll have a basic understanding of what's going on here. Although they're two different games, the basic premise is the same. Fly around with your units and capture the enemy planets to win. Obviously this game is a lot more in depth. For example, each planet gives you different bonuses. You have to actually build your units. Have different heroes that give you different bonuses. For example, let's look at Kuat. So we'll zoom in. As you can see, you can have 3 different fleets orbit any one system. Obviously, your fleet can be as big or small as you want. In this particular one, we have 3 Victory cruisers. If we wanted, we could split that up into 3 fleets. Obviously, we could have 20 ships in this fleet if we wanted, but for now, it's all good. We can hold up to 10 ground forces on the planet. I think that's universal to all planets. The main difference here, of course, is that the units don't stack. So even though we have 2 of the same unit, they will not stack. We can only hold too many. And these are the buildings that are present on the planet. So we have a light factory, which allows us to build AT-STs at Time Maulers. We have a barracks, which allows us to build stormtroopers. And we have a research facility, which will allow us to advance our technology. If we look over here too, we also have a space station at level 4. Obviously, the higher up the level, the more ships you can build. If you look here, we've got 2 tabs. The blue is what you can build in space, and the orange are ground units. So because we have the barracks and the light factory, we can build these things. Obviously, if we go to a planet that only has a barracks, for example, we cannot build AT-STs, etc. If we did want to do that, we would have to build this light factory here. That would go into the production queue, and once it's built, the ability to build these things are unlocked. As you can see, there's lots of different things you can build. You can build for officer academies, research facility, although I don't understand why you would need more than one. You can build defenses like turbo laser towers, which if the rebels attacked us, this magma pulse cannon will allow us to shoot into space, so that's space defense, I suppose. This is a mining facility which will boost, as we see, Corellia makes 105 credits a day for us. We can build that, and when it's completed, it would boost that. So Corellia would make us more money. Our total credits per day would increase, which is never a bad thing. As you can see, adding things to a queue adds it to the orange, and if we go to space, it adds the blue. Obviously, it won't start production on the second unit until the first one is completed. Although, as you see, if we unpause, ground units and space units build independently of each other. Yes, I think that's, like I said, each planet has different advantages. While this planet is controlled, Corellian corvettes, which you want to say is a rebellion ship, cost 20% to build on all planets. Kuat makes Star Destroyers 20% cheaper on all planets. These Imperial Star Destroyers aren't a umbrella term for all the ships that you would probably consider as a Star Destroyer. For example, these are Victory cruisers, not Star Destroyers. When it says Star Destroyers, it means they're like really big ones. I think they're Imperial 2 class destroyers. You can't really see it here, but if we send Admiral Piet into a battle, he has a Star Destroyer. You'll see what I mean. In fact, that's probably good. Obviously, you can send your heroes into battle, and all of the Imperial heroes have a thing. So obviously, Piet has the big Star Destroyer. Viz has his AT-AT. Boba Fett's a ground trooper, and so is the Emperor. Obviously, in other campaigns, you have Darth Vader as well. He's a ground thing. The only exception to that is that Grand Moff Tarkin, to have him on a ground battle, he just sits in a building that you've got built, for example, he doesn't really offer any advantage, I suppose. That being said, if you have him in a space battle, he will increase the effectiveness of your ships, but on the flip side, you cannot retreat from any battle he's present in. So if things turn sour, generally speaking, you can retreat and make the jump to hyperspace, but if he is present, you cannot. So for better or worse, you're stuck in that battle till the end. One of the best things about the Emperor is that he production costs are reduced by 25% at his current location. So with that in mind, we're going to send him to Kuwait, because obviously that's our best place for making our starfleet, and we'll build a few. It will probably also be a good idea to upgrade our tech. Another thing to explain, you can see on some units, for example Boba Fett over here and this probe droid, they have this little blue circle with a yellow man. What that indicates is that you can fly over enemy controlled planets and it will not create an engagement. So I suppose the thing is they can spy on a planet. As far as I'm aware, to move Boba Fett over a planet, he can only see any ships in the system. He can't see what's on the ground, and probe droids can. But with that being said, they can see how many units are on the ground, but they can't tell you what the units are. So just for example, let's go have a look at an axis here. He'll go spy. Obviously we have to unpause the game, so we send him to spy. So we pause here. As you can see, it went past this planet, and we can see the pirate fleet is relatively strong, and that the pirates are also in control of this planet. As you can see, we can't really see what they have, but I think it's in our best interests to take this planet. So without further ado, let's consolidate the fleets over this planet and send them over to engage. Whenever you spark a battle, you get the opportunity to either begin or auto-resolve. In my personal experience, the AI isn't very favourable to you in a resolve. So we'll begin. And the other thing the comment I'd like to make is, in this game, the space battles are a lot more fun than the ground ones. But there you go. Obviously we'll have to do both. So I'll pause it. We've jumped straight into combat. We've jumped out of hyperspace pretty close to here. To win at this battle, we have to destroy all pirate space forces. So here, obviously, this is the victory frigates, the victory cruisers we have all over the galaxy, and this is a Star Destroyer. So when we unlock the tech, I imagine it's probably Tech 5, unfortunately, we can just build these. We won't need Piet. Each ship has different things they can do. So for example, we can shoot a proton beam, which does hull damage, and trap smaller ships in our tractor beam. TIE fighters can hunt for enemies. Boba Fett can drop seismic charges, and this cruiser can boost weapon power at the expense of engine speed and shields. So obviously if they're being bombarded, you don't want to do that because their shields will suffer for it. You can select any unit, select all your units for example, and you can see each ship has a hit point. You can either tell it to concentrate on a particular hit point or just a ship in general. So we'll unpause. The other cool thing, if you press the spacebar, it sort of does this sort of view where you can, it slides around, you can pick two different things. Um, so the game looks pretty good considering it came out in 2006. So obviously their big cruisers already been destroyed. We'll just kill these fighters, and as far as I'm aware, we will win. And indeed, we'll drop a seismic charge. And indeed, we win it rather convincingly. So after every battle, it'll take you to this screen. It shows you how long the battle went for, what we lost. Obviously we lost nothing and the enemy lost. So we'll return to the galaxy. And we now control the space over this. And we can take our units that we have on this planet and send them into orbit. Now obviously, to attack, you need to send them orbit to launch an attack. Obviously, if we did that the other way and just sent our ground units, the space units protecting the system, it would still launch a space battle, but obviously these are all carried in transports, not in armoured sort of ships like Star Destroyers or anything. So the pirates would have just blown them all up, so we would have lost everything. So you need to control the space around the planet before you can sort of launch an attack. Now that this planet is undefended, we'll probably recruit a few things. In fact, this planet seems pretty safe, so we'll probably bring these guys up here.
We need to send an emissary to help convince others of their wrongdoing.
So we got a bonus mission here. If we neutralize a rebellion hero with Boba Fett on Alazok 3, we'll receive 1,000 credits. If we look at the galaxy, Alazok 3 is over here. So because we have no path to it, we can't do it yet. But one of the advantages Boba Fett has is he can fly and neutralize a hero. Obviously there's none on this planet, but for example, if Han Solo was here, we could pay Boba Fett to kill Han Solo, and obviously he's not dead for the rest of the game. They just die and they get a respawn counter. It's the same thing for our heroes. For example, if we send a Boba Fett into battle and he dies, he's not removed permanently, but you'll see a clock sort of over his face. Same thing happens when he neutralizes a hero. He's out of the game for a little while. So obviously there's a massive rebel fleet over here, although I feel we could probably take that with what we have. It's interesting to note that rebels can build X-Wings like as a ship, but for a Imperial, because they have no hyperdrives or anything, TIE fighters aren't separate units. You have to build, I think this frigate is the thing, or higher up, they spawn TIE fighters, and if we got attacked and we have a space station in the system, they also. So we probably won't actually win this, considering that I've been talking a lot and we've only got 20 days. We'll have to speed it up a lot, but obviously we're going to put Boba Fett in here because we can use him. So we'll also begin just to a ground battle, it looks like.
Enemy is approaching.
So obviously this is a command post, and you see this little number here that signifies the number of sort of units we can land. If we click here, we can call for reinforcements. So we might want a garrison of stormtroopers, which will land. We'll also bring up Boba Fett. So when we unpause, you'll see that the units will land and disembark. You might notice these green things everywhere. That's human forces. Depending on what planet it is, they can be friendly or hostile. On this particular planet, they are friendly to the Empire, so we can control them. These buildings here is what they spawn out of. If they were hostile, we could also destroy them for extra credits, but they're not, so we can use them to kill the pirates. You can also see here there's other command posts. If we capture them, I'm not actually sure if these neutral humans can, but if they do, we can land on more units. Obviously these guys have landed and we're going to go fight the pirates over here.
Moving to secondary position.
You can see over here, because it's raining, lasers have reduced accuracy by 50%, but that will affect everyone. We want these stormtroopers also to come over.
Can I assist you?
We'll send these guys to kill these guys.
Where do you need me?
You can go and help.
I'll do my best.
So obviously we've captured here and we can land 2 more units. So we'll land some maulers and these guys.
Sir?
You can also come and help.
When do I get paid?
So you can also do a similar spacing where it's like this cinematic thing, but obviously you have no control over your units while they do that. So we want them to
Keep up if you can.
blow this up, who's pretty strong against... There's also these turrets which you can build, entry vehicle and entry infantry, but for now I think we've got enough forces.
Keep up if you can. Support order acknowledged.
In fact, we'll build an anti-infantry one, I think. And also we can tell these guys to come with these guys up.
Moving to secondary position. Fire. Target acquired.
And we want to keep our AT-STs away from these skiffs because they're strong.
Awaiting orders. Construction.
But now this turret will concentrate on blowing them up. If we come down here, our extra units have landed. And we'll send them over. Also do anti-infantry. And I'll also explain that because we have our friendly ships in orbit, we have this thing called a bombing run,
Squadron reporting.
which we can use, for example here, we'll send a bombing run,
Attack run.
and you see over here bombers will come and fly in
Attack run.
and bombard here, destroy all that.
Awaiting orders.
So we,
On my way.
and you can see this start to rotate.
Enemy sighted. Enemy spotted. Hostile. You up. Attack.
We can destroy this base,
Battalion standing by.
and we'll blow this up.
Ready, sir. Attack that target. Attacking target. Fire.
More humans have spawned, so we'll get them to come and join the battle.
Ready to help.
You can kill these guys.
Affirmative.
Want me to blow these up, blow this skiff up.
Targeting. Firing.
So obviously, like I said before, space is a lot more interesting because this stuff's all
On the move.
relatively
Following your lead. Scouting area.
repetitive,
Target acquired. Enemy
but that's okay.
right away. Covering fire. Moving out.
Perhaps a bit later on we'll auto-resolve our land battles and just concentrate on space, but for now we'll keep going.
Fall out. Fire. We'll back you up. Let's move out.
We have to destroy all pirate land forces and structures to win. So we want to blow this thing up, that's an anti-vehicle turret. So we want, and now the infantry. Beautiful. Let's fly back over this way. These guys can come kill these guys.
Forward. Hello, Commander. There they are. Attacking.
These guys
should I
can
go?
come and help.
Going after them.
That is a repair station.
Can I do something? Reporting in.
We're gonna
Targeting.
come blow this thing
Firing.
up.
I can cover you.
Mauler ready. There they are.
So we want these guys
Roger that.
to come over here. Obviously,
Engaging enemy.
to kill these. In fact, let's just bomb them.
Ready for orders.
Makes it a lot easier. And you guys just concentrate over
Target
here.
acquired. Commencing
As you
bombing
can
run.
see, they're all dead. Bombing runs are very powerful, so you guys can come up here and help. And hopefully with that we will win.
Awaiting orders. Enemy sighted.
I want to blow this thing up as quickly as possible because it's pretty strong against our... there's that, blow this one up. And these maulers can run over infantry units and kill them. It's just, they're a bit dirty sometimes and it's hard to sort of get them to do that. So they actually killed a Boba Fett and 2 stormtrooper garrisons, and we got all that, and also took over the planet. So again you can see Boba Fett's on a respawn timer. He's no longer...
Mission log updated.
We have discovered a traitor in our midst.
So if we conquer Freezer, we'll get 3,000 credits, which is a nice. So I think we will do that. We'll build this pro-droid to see what they're up against before doing anything too rash. We'll link this up here. We'll do our tech upgrade. As you can see, because we just captured this planet, it's got nothing built on it. Our Victory Star destroyers cost less to build on all planets though, which is nice. So if we go here, they should be even cheaper. And indeed they are. We have no money at the moment to do much, but we're making a lot more per day. That's a pretty sizable fleet. So we're gonna bring him back. Here's a good example. Because this is full, we cannot land at these on the planet, and obviously if the rebels attacked us in space, we would lose them. So we'll get these two, bring them down. We'll bring these guys over. And we'll put these back on the planet for now because he has no space advantage.
Right away.
So we've obviously combined most of our fleet into a massive one.
Reporting.
And so we should win this pretty convincingly. So we'll begin. But it's similar. Here we go. A-wing squadrons get a production boost if the rebels own it, which they do. So it's good for us to take it. Same thing as before. You can only have so many reinforcements on the battlefield, I suppose, for lack of a better word, at once. So we actually have 6 cruisers on standby that we can call into battle if things turn sour. As you can see, Tarkin doesn't have his own ship, but he's pretty safe in this big one, and he'll also boost it. Because this is a rebel planet, you can see here on the map, although it's still covered by the fog of war, they do have a space station, so we're going to have to destroy that to win. So we'll unpause,
These vagrants stand in
select
our way.
our
Eliminate them
units,
to prepare for our land
send them
invasion.
over here because we know
On my way.
so the mouse was just a bit derpy there, but we've got it all under control. So we'll zoom out
I'm here. Yes, Commander.
and send them in here.
Yes, Commander.
And here is it is a level 2 space station, so obviously,
Drop the missile launcher.
and this is actually getting, these are pretty strong ships, so we want to blow them up as quickly as possible.
I will try. Transmission received. Right. Cruiser here.
These guys are pretty strong against fighter classes.
Enemies in range.
So obviously we're up against a lot stronger fleet than we were with the pirates, although we should still win this pretty convincingly. Um, these blocks are pretty good against this, so we actually want that here. So as you can see, we're down to 15 out of 20, so we can actually fly another one of these guys into orbit. The only restrictions they have are you can't do it into asteroid fields or too close to enemy space stations. So we'll send him in and one of these guys, so we're back to 20. And we're destroying the rebel fleet. Pretty use all attack here. So I think we can just sit back and wait for our ships to do what they do best and destroy everything. As you can see, sometimes the camera goes a bit derpy. In fact, a lot of the time it goes derpy. But as you can see, we destroyed the space station and then the rest of them jumped to hyperspace. So we lost our little cruiser and a patrol cruiser, but the rebels lost quite a substantial navy. So what? I see, that shows who owns the planet. Very nice. What we want to do is bring these guys over. We still don't have a lot of money, but we'll send it these guys, join them up into the fleet, and we're going to want to take this planet for the credit bonus, which we're already at day 9, so unfortunately I don't think we'll be able to wipe the rebels out, which is far less than ideal. But that's also why I didn't pick a big campaign. Obviously, it's just to get a look at some of the mechanics in the game. I probably didn't explain them to the best of the ability, but hopefully you get a basic understanding of how it works. Join me next time where we'll continue with this campaign. Obviously we'll take Frisia, hopefully expand a bit quicker, maybe split our fleet in 2 and have 2 fronts fighting. Hopefully do it in 11 days, although we were playing pretty slow, so it makes me slightly skeptical. But you never know, for all we know most of these are pirate owned, and so just taking these 3 will win us the game. I don't know, I can't see what the planets are. But yeah, anyway, join me next time where we will continue. Thanks for watching.